As season 2 comes to a close, I'm heading underground, diving into research, sticking out brilliant new guests, and playing around with needle shifting ideas to bring you more 10-minute, no fluff episodes that cut through the stress and boost the joy in your work life. But before I disappear, here's a fast and fiery recap of season 2's standout moments, packed with insights to revisit right when you need them most. Whether you missed a few episodes or are due for a re listen, this roundup will help you find the ones that speak to your current situation at work. Let's dive in. Boundaries equals less stress with Louisa Clark. Louisa joined me twice in season 2 because her work on boundaries is that essential. In our first conversation, she linked everyday emotions like frustration, exhaustion, and pissed offness directly to leaky boundaries. Then, in part 2, Louisa walked through a clear, actionable, and step by step process she uses for setting and communicating boundaries that create space for true joy at work. Caught in a negative thought spiral with Caroline K. If you've ever been your own worst enemy, you've met self sabotage. Caroline unpacked what it looks like, why we fall into it, and shares her methods to build the mental strength to break free and how that can then make big dreams happen much more quickly and easily. It's a powerful episode on flipping your mindset. Imposter syndrome isn't rare, it's rampant with Claire Yosa. Claire, one of the UK's top experts on imposter syndrome, explains the subtle but critical difference between normal self doubt and the soul sapping spiral of imposter syndrome. Spoiler, it could be what's holding you back from your next big leap. Your LinkedIn profile is letting you down with Jo Watson. Jo, a clever and hilarious copywriter, dished the dirt on the top 5 mistakes she sees professionals make on LinkedIn. We laughed hard, but her advice is razor sharp. Your profile is your first impression, and you've got 11 seconds to make it. Don't be boring on LinkedIn with Mel Booth. Mel showed us how to show up human on LinkedIn. If your feed feels dull, this one's for you. If you feel uncomfortable posting or are stuck in a dull loop of congratulating ex colleagues on their new jobs and liking company updates, her suggestions will help you engage with the humans on LinkedIn in ways that are non dull, non boring, and easy. Defining and redefining productivity with Louise Miller. Louise isn't your typical productivity guru. She's anti hack, pro intentional living. We talked about hitting pause, zooming out, or up into the treehouse, and charting a work life route that leads somewhere you actually want to go. I loved this episode so much. I'm now working with Lou to keep midlife unstuck growing while keeping me feeling unfrazzled. Strong to grow old with John Field. If you're a midlife professional who spends a great deal of time staring at a computer screen, John's got your back. Literally. An amazing takeaway is that he explains the difference between exercise and training for longevity. And he gives really practical ideas how to stay mobile, strong, and thriving well into your later years, even if you spend 60% of your day at the desk. Happiness and money, they're linked with Chris Budd. Chris, author, podcast host, and financial well-being guru, connects the dots between how we spend and how we feel. This episode dives into the happiness habits and the psychological traps that keep us stuck doing work that pays us but doesn't feel joyful. There's so many aha moments in this one. Meetings don't have to suck with Dr. Kerry Groucher. Dr. Kerry totally gets the tribal weirdness of workplace meetings and offers tactical experiments to make them faster, better, and more productive. Whether you lead meetings or just sit in too many of them, this one's a game changer. Menopause at Work and How to Talk About It with Sinead Sharkey Steenson. Sinead joined me twice in this season to talk about menopause, once from the perspective of those going through it, and once from the lens of those supporting them. She's running men only sessions that demystify this often taboo topic. It's eye opening, inclusive, and practical. Understanding grief and what not to say with Dipti Tate. Grief isn't just about death. It can stem from big life shifts like childbirth, job loss, or marriage. Dipti offers compassionate advice on supporting others through grief, including 5 things you should never say. Yep, my eyebrows were very expressive on this episode. What's wrong with wearing black? With Emma Shue. Colour psychology at work doesn't get enough attention. Emma explains how the colour in our wardrobes and on our Zoom backgrounds affect how we feel and how others perceive us. Her answer about black tops made me snort laugh on air. Apologies in advance. End of life conversations at work with Liz Orgill. Liz, a marketeer and trainee end of life doula, shares what she's learning about the emotional work of supporting loved ones through decline or death and how to navigate those end of life conversations that are so important while still trying to keep the work wheels turning. Divorcing with dignity and keeping your career intact with Danielle Barbaro. Danielle, the first UK divorce coach, reframes separation with kindness and clarity. We talked about how to navigate emotional and legal hurdles without drama, how to avoid 1990s style "I'll see you in court" divorce processes that can destroy families, and how to choose a lawyer who values peace over war. Appraisals don't have to be awful with Dr. Amanda Woolley. If you loathe annual appraisals, welcome to the club. Amanda shares 3 transformational and surprisingly simple questions that can turn the whole process into something meaningful, motivating, and, dare I say it, enjoyable. How to be a good enough working parent with Sarah Mundy. Being a decent parent, partner, and professional at the same time is no small feat. Sarah, a brilliant child psychologist, gives grounded, guilt-free advice for surviving and thriving in the chaos of working parenthood. One surprising suggestion made me breathe more easily and be a little gentler with myself. The comparison trap with Rob Stubbs. Rob unpacks how comparison sneaks into our work and life to sap our joy. He offers a smarter way to respond, using comparison as a tool for personal insight instead of dragging us into self-sabotage. Men's mental health, out in the open with Paddy Silk. Paddy's openness about his own mental health struggles and the local group he started, Men Walking and Talking, left a big impression on me. Vulnerable, real, and so needed. Stress is at epidemic levels. Here's what to do with Bernadette Dancy. Bernadette, stress consultant, reminded us that we're living in a time of global stress overload. She explains the cost of just cracking on and very clearly explains what to do instead to protect your mental health and your physical well-being so that you can bring a little joy home at the end of the workday. Midlife dating disasters and what to do instead with Kirsten Rao. Kirsten knows a thing or 3 about nightmare dates. She generously shared a few of them with me. And then she told me how she created a different method to date that transformed her results. Her method resulted in her discovering her husband, whom she always seems to be absolutely delighted with. So that's a review of all of the season 2 guest interviews. But for those of you who want to be a little more active in designing your joy at work, I encourage you to listen to the weekly experiment episodes. There are 18 experiments from season 2 that I've designed specifically for professionals who want to step in and more actively up the ante in their joy at work. These experiments come from so many different angles, including deep work, joyful habits, identity shifts, finding 30 extra minutes a day, pride, mistakes, prioritizing yourself, procrastination, thinking time, listening skills, ideal Tuesdays, envy, wiping out irritations, breaking free of the cold job application cycle, getting comfortable with saying no, discovering your kryptonite, conversations about work with family and friends, appreciation, and one of my favorites, busy bragging. So that's a wrap on season 2. If any of these conversations spark curiosity or tug at something you're facing right now, go back and hit play. I promise it'll be 10 minutes well spent. To help us reach more people like you, I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider giving the Joy at Work podcast a 5-star review. And if you've got any topics you'd love us to cover, just email me at lucia@midlifeunstuck.com. Until next season, keep seeking your joy at work. If you enjoyed this, you might also enjoy my life satisfaction assessment. It's a 30-minute program where I guide you through a deep dive into 10 areas of your life to assess what's bringing you joy and what's bringing you down. I call it Derailed. It's a fabulous place to begin a Joy at Work redesign.